Hi, my name is Ricardo from the imhobyrex.com blog, and this is my first video about Microsoft Excel. I plan on going over all of the formulas that I think are very helpful in the workplace, help save time and be more productive. And so the first formula I'm going over is the VLOOKUP formula. So the VLOOKUP formula is used to look up information on different sheets. And it sounds very simply explained, but I'm going to go into more detail. Alright, so here's our example scenario. We have a very simple report with a few columns, and it's not very useful because I don't know what these document IDs are, and I don't know who's responsible for processing these items. Alright, so I'm going to dive right into it. So again, to use, just like any other function, type the equal sign and open parentheses, and it's going to ask for parameters. So the first parameter is going to be the lookup value, which is what I want it to look up on a different sheet, and the second value parameter is going to be the data set that I wanted to look at. So I'm doing this using this formula, an example, using Excel tables, because I want to show you the difference and basically why you should be using tables and not ranges. And you see, since I used a table, it carried, instead of using C2 for that cell there, it actually grabbed the whole column. So this first VLOOKUP example, I'm going to be using it against a range of information. So on this sheet, I have the same exact information. On one side I have a table, on the other side I have a range. And as you can see, I selected only the data that I plan on using. I did not need to grab the headers. Alright, and since I plan on using autofill on this, I'm going to have to use the special character that prevents that range from updating every time I copy it and paste it, and that's the cache sign. The third parameter is going to be which column I wanted to return for that bit of information. It's referred to as the column index number, and so I want the second column, so I'll just type the 2. The final one, there's appropriate uses for approximate match, but in most cases you're just going to need the exact match. Alright, and it did exactly what I wanted to. So it looked onto that other sheet, it looked up the document ID, and returned the relating information. Alright, so I'm going to do this again, only instead of using the range, I'm going to use the table. So not only do I want to know the name of these documents, I want to know who's responsible for processing them. So I'm going to write in here responsible district. And since I'm using a table, it automatically includes that new column into your table. So the function is exactly the same. The only thing that's going to change is what we select. So I'm still going to select the document ID. And then for the table array, I don't need to use special characters. All I have to do is select the entire table. And so to make sure, just to be sure that you grab the entire table, look for that keyword. It's going to say the name of the table and the all keyword. This time, instead of the second row, I want the third row because I want to know who's responsible for processing this information. And again, I'll use the exact match. So now that this is done, I can do something nifty. Like let's say sort for all of the items that need to go to the finance district or department, and I can just copy and paste this into like an email or something like that. So I'll go to remove that. So the other reason why I use tables is because they update when you add new data. So there's this new row here, and it has a document ID that we're not familiar with, that we don't already have in the document sheet. And so I look it up, I found out that these are actually photo IDs. So it's the document ID, it's photo ID, and let's say that claims processes this. And I'm going to copy this over into this other one because I want to show you what will happen for both of the rows. Right. So as you can see, the formula that we use, the table automatically updated because it's including all rows and columns in that table, even ones that are added to it. But the formula in which I use the range did not update because I told it a specific range instead of the table. So Excel can look at a table like an object and update new rows and columns automatically. So if I were to continuously use ranges every time I added something, I would have to update that formula. And nobody wants to do that. Alright, so, and of course, since these formulas are already typed in, you won't have to type these in again. You just simply paste them in every time you get this crummy report, or whatever it is you want to call it. And that's it. So, look forward to more videos. Let me know what formulas you want me to go over below. If you think I missed something, or if you think I thought it was helpful, please let me know below. Alright, subscribe. Great day.